Hello everyone! In this video we're going to draw a rat. Start by drawing a circle as a guide for the head. To draw the circle, first make two small marks to indicate the circle's length, and then on the sides make two more small marks to indicate the circle's width. Then connect the marks using curved lines to finish the shape of the circle. The circle doesn't have to be perfect, but if you're having trouble drawing it, just trace the outer edge of a coin, a bottle cap, or anything else with a circular edge. On the left side of the head, draw an angled line as a guide for the muzzle. This shape should be similar to an arc on its side. Pay attention to the size of this guide in relation to the circle. Draw a sloping line across the entire head. This is a construction guide that will help you place the facial features later on. On the top right side of the head, draw a small arc as a guide for the first ear. The bottom of the ear should be inside the head. To the left, draw a smaller, thinner arc as a guide for the other ear. To the right of the head, draw a circle as a guide for the front part of the body. Use the small marks method to draw this circle too. First make a few small marks to indicate the sides of the circle, and then connect the marks using curved lines to finish the shape of the circle. This circle should be about 1.5 times as big as the head circle. Don't overlap the shape of the head as you draw the left side of the circle. To the right, draw a bigger circle as a guide for the back portion of the body. Use the 4 marks method to draw this circle as well. Don't overlap the previous circle as you draw this circle. This circle should be about 1.5 times the size of the previous circle. Under the front part of the body, draw a short angled line as a guide for the first front leg. Bend the line to indicate the foot. On the left side, draw another angled line as a guide for the other front leg. Under the circle on the right, draw a longer angled line as a guide for the hind leg. Connect the head to the body using short sloping lines to create the guide for the neck. Connect the circles on the right using longer lines to finish the guide for the body. On the bottom right side, draw a short curved line to finish the guide for the back portion of the body. Starting on the bottom right side of the body, draw a long line that curves to the left as a guide for the tail. This line should be almost as long as the body. And that's it for the guidelines. Now let's start on the final drawing. Inside the head, lightly sketch a small circle for the eye. Place the eye above the construction guide and close to the left edge of the head circle. When you get the size and position of the eye right, darken the shape. Make the sides of the shape pointier for the corners of the eye. Inside the eye, off to the side, draw a tiny circle for a highlight. In the middle of the eye, draw a small circle and shade it in for the pupil. Draw a couple of curved lines around the eye for the bare skin. Shade the inside of the eye, but don't overlap the highlight circle. Use a value that's lighter than the pupil to shade the eye. On the tip of the muzzle, lightly sketch a small circle for the nose. When you get the size and position of the nose right, darken the lines. Darken the bottom part of the nose using 2 curved lines and draw a thicker curved line on the right side for the nostril. Use short strokes as you darken the top part of the nose for a furry texture. Darken the initial guideline on top of the nose to create the top part of the muzzle. Under the nose, draw a line that curves to the right for the mouth. Draw these lines using a series of short strokes for a furry texture. Under the mouth, draw a short line along the path of the initial guideline for the lower jaw. Use the small arc on the top right side of the head as a guide to draw the first ear. Darken the guide and add a few lines inside the shape to give the ear structure. Draw a series of short strokes along the bottom of the shape for the furry base of the ear. Darken the shape on the left, but make it more curved to create the other ear. Use the other shapes and lines as guides to draw the rest of the head. Darken the outer edges of the guides using short strokes to create the furry shape of the head. It's okay to overlap the ear on the left as you draw the top part of the head. Curve the bottom right side of the head up toward the ear. Above the mouth, draw a few rows of dots for the base of the whiskers. Use the second line from the left that's under the body as a guide to draw the front leg. First, lightly sketch the shape of the leg around the guideline. Draw a thin curved shape on the bottom left side for the tip of the foot. When you get the shape of the leg right, darken the lines. Make the base of the leg wide and the foot thin. Draw a series of short strokes along the bottom part of the leg for fur. On the left side of the foot, draw a few long thin shapes for the toes. Use the angled line on the left as a guide to draw the other leg and foot. Lightly sketch the shape of the leg around the guideline and only darken the lines when you get the shape right. Use short strokes for a furry texture. Make the shape of the foot thin. Draw a few thin shapes on the foot for the toes. Use the longer angled line to the right as a guide to draw the hind foot. Draw the shape of the foot along the guideline. Make the shape of the foot long and thin. When you get the shape of the foot right, darken the lines. On the tip of the foot, draw a few long thin shapes for the toes. Draw a series of short strokes at the top for the furry base of the leg. Now use the remaining shapes and lines as guides to draw the rest of the body. Simply darken the outer edges of the guides to create the shape of the body. Use a series of short strokes along the path of the guides to create a furry texture. Draw longer strokes for longer fur. Use the line under the body as a guide to draw the tail. First, lightly sketch the shape of the tail around the guideline. The shape of the tail should be wide at the base and then gradually get thinner toward the tip. Make the tip of the tail thin and pointy. When you get the shape of the tail right, darken the lines. Pay attention to the length of the tail in relation to the body. Now erase the initial guidelines. The next few steps are sped up so that the video isn't too long. Don't worry about erasing all of the guidelines. It's okay if you leave some behind. Redraw any of the final lines that you may have accidentally erased. Now shade your drawing. Use strokes that have a medium value to shade the entire body. For light values, push down very lightly on your pencil, then push down harder for darker values. As you shade, use strokes that go in the direction of the fur. The strokes mainly have a horizontal orientation at the top and gradually become vertical at the bottom. Domesticated rats can have a variety of coat patterns, so you can shade yours differently if you'd like. If you have a pet rat, try to duplicate its coat pattern on your drawing. Slowly and gradually add more strokes for more layers of fur. As you shade, separate each stroke a bit so that the white of the paper comes through and creates a more furry texture. Use slightly darker values along the bottoms of the shapes for shadows. Add a bit of cross-hatching to the tail for texture. Shading can be time-consuming, so be patient and take breaks. Draw a shadow at the bottom using a medium value. Keep shading until you're happy with the result. And that's it for the rat. Don't forget to pause the video to draw at your own pace. Also, please visit howtodrawanimals.com where every step of this tutorial is broken down into an individual image. That's how, and then the number 2, then drawanimals.com. If you'd like to support my channel, please consider buying my books on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description below. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe for more videos in the future. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep drawing.